Hello, people. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good November morning. I hope it is good. And thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. My name is Serge, Father Serge. I am a teacher of English, and you may have seen me before a couple of times. And yeah, so and this, if again, this sorry, if it's not, it's if you have been here before, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Today we're talking not about grammar, not vocabulary, nothing like that. The most important topic, like the most important topic, politeness. Yeah, I think it's more important than professional skills sometimes, and it's even more important than your character and features, and like because this is how people sometimes see you, what they use as a basis for understanding whether you're a good person or not, because they don't have time to look into your soul and your heart, right? So it's a business card, politeness. And we're not talking about politeness with your friends, right? And about being polite with your friends. It's about being polite with the most important people in your lives. The people that you love and respect and admire and can't live without. Customers, right? Or maybe colleagues. Well, it's not a bad idea to be polite with American colleagues if you have working in a project where you have the other part of the team. I don't know how things work out in your project, but sometimes, yeah, you communicate with Americans and they are not your customers. And anyway, yes, it is about American politeness because you know that we have different understanding of what is politeness. And by the way, if you're watching, you can say hi in the chat. I will be monitoring it and maybe responding, and I would really, really, really appreciate your participation. This would be cool. And yeah, so now you see ABCD, four definitions of politeness, in my humble opinion. Like read them, and like I'll make some comments about that, and tell me which one you like. Because if you want to practice anything, and today we're going to practice politeness, actually, you have to believe it's important. Like you can't practice things you don't believe in, right? So I think that politeness is a way of making the people that know you feel more comfortable and less suspicious of you. And suspicious is относящийся с подозрением. So people don't know you and they feel more comfortable, and because you're polite, because you look and sound like a nice person. Or maybe it's a language, and it's a B option. Maybe it's a language of building trust between people who aren't friends, and that's why they cannot be brutally honest, so to speak, right? That's a language of building trust, which is not very far from A, right? And I like this one. It's art of hiding from people what you really think of them. Maybe you might be thinking that's what Americans do, right? That's how they communicate. Well, actually, we do too. And D is technology of sharing positivity when you can't afford intimacy. Now, which one do you like best? Actually, in my opinion, all of them are true. To this or that extent, but all of them are true. And let me know in the chat what you think. Like which definition of politeness is important. But I mean, it works better for you, yeah? But I believe that it is important. Like I told you, it is. Definitely is. Because, well, that's a fundamental soft skill. Yeah, it's not only, I mean, it is part of being able to communicate with people. And one thing is, soft skill is your ability to feel the other people's feelings and empathize and things like this, but sometimes you don't have time or place for that. And the only thing you can share with them is politeness, is being nice in your words. There's no time for anything else. And so it's like the basis of you being able to be a good person or sound like a good person. Of course, it's a powerful first impression maker because it's like your clothes. Because politeness is like your clothes. Sometimes that's all you have to give. It's just be nice, smile, say good things. Because there's no time and place for you to show how good a professional you are in that conversation and everything. So, yeah, it's powerful. It's like the clothes that you're wearing. And I call it the golden oil of social interaction because it makes things easier, right, for people to interact with one another when they're being nice to each other and not just letting everyone know how they really feel about everything. So being nice and friendly, well, that's a good thing to do. And I call it a casual pleasure giver, because it's just a way of this is what Americans are very good at. I mean, if you've had a chance of communicating with them, you know that they like to say nice things that, if you believe, and you should believe them, it gives you pleasure, because they say nice things about you, about what you do, and they smile, and it actually does give me pleasure for sure. That's a pleasure. So, and it comes from simple, friendly, nice words. Like, you don't need to invest a lot of energy in it, and you just make some other person feel good. You know, the Americans talk to strangers in the streets, and they smile to them, and they say hi, and everything like that. Yes, that is American standard of politeness. You must have noticed it, right? That they are way more polite. They are way friendlier than us. And why? Because they smile. We don't. We're serious. And why do they smile, guys? Why do they smile? Because they feel good. Not because they like you or love you. They may be neutral to you. Neutral, you're just a random person I'm working with. I don't know you. I don't want to be friends with you. But I feel good now. And I want us to feel good. We will always be strangers, because you cannot be friends with everyone, guys. You can't. You can't. But sharing some nice, friendly, positive energy with a person you don't know and will never be friends with, it's better than being neutral. But okay, I'll mention that later. So they smile because they feel good. We smile because we like something. Like, it's okay for you. Like, you can have that mentality. You can have that understanding that smiling is about liking people. It's okay. I mean, that's your mentality, and you have the right to have it. But when you're interacting with Americans, and I have been doing so since 1995, like, not on a regular daily basis, but actually lived with them in the same room, in the same hotel, spent like days and weeks with them from morning till evening. Like, I have this experience, and because I was working as an interpreter back in the 90s, and like, I know how they live or how they communicate, not from movies, but from like face-to-face interaction with them on a daily basis. And yeah, I had to learn a lot. And what I'm sharing with you today, well, that's the result of my experience. Like, I'm sharing the fruits of my experience with you. So yes, they say, how are you doing? They talk to you, and even if they don't know you, because they think that when you don't ignore people, you actually show love. Yeah, I was actually like shocked when I was wandering or just walking down a street, empty street in the afternoon in October 2017. It was a street in the wonderful city of Houston. There were just some houses and cars of the people and nobody in the street. I was just walking there on my own. And there was this runner, just the guy who decided to have an afternoon run. And he was running by me. And he saw me for the first and last 3 seconds in his life. Like, he never saw me before. He will never see me again. But you know what he did? He just ran by me for several seconds. You know what he said? He said, how are you doing? It's just, and it was pleasant. You know, like, it made me feel good that the guy who didn't care about me because I didn't care about them, because you never care about strangers you meet in the streets, do you? You never do. That's normal. That's okay not to care about people you don't know, because you can't care about everyone. But he cared enough about me to share some positivity. So he did not just ran by me, like I pretended I did not exist. No, he said, hi, how you doing? Oh, he was also a good runner because he had enough breath. He was not out of breath, so he actually managed to say, how are you doing? Because he was not running so fast. So, and when they're talking to you, they say, sure, and they smile, and they pay compliments, right? That's what they do. That's their standard. To smile, say good things, talk to you when they don't know you, and avoid conflict. And That's not a bad example, guys, right? Like, if we could learn to do that, our society would be the streets of our city would be a better place. Trust me. Because one of the biggest problems that people who are immigrating from Ukraine, the biggest problems that they have with this country and with these people is that everyone is rude. Everyone is dark and gray and not smiling. And when they go abroad, they feel like people are nice and friendly and they smile, and in general, life is a better experience. Not only because of some economical reasons, but just because people respect other people more. And that's why they want to get the hell out of here, of this place called Ukraine, or whatever. Because I know that because I've been sending people abroad for like 20 years now. Not like regularly all of the time, but I have my ex-students all over the globe. And well, you must agree with me. Tell me what you think in the chat again. Like, that's important, and that's something for us to try to develop in ourselves, in our skills. And the main problem that we have with their standard of politeness is that A, B, C, or D. Which one do you like best? We think that they're not sincere. We think they're not sincere at all, or they're completely not sincere at all. This is our problem, right? We think that to be polite, you have to love that person if you want to be friendly with them. And because they don't love us, and they can't love us because we're not family, because we're strangers, we're working together, then if they say nice things and they don't love us as family, then they're kind of not sincere. And it's bullshit. You know the meaning of the word bullshit, guys? So it's bullshit, the bullshit. That's what it is, like what we are thinking about them. Because people who are nice to us love us more than those who don't care about us, when they ignore us, or they don't smile to us. Think about it. The person who smiles at you on the public transport when they don't know you, and that's what Americans do, they actually love us more because they care to share positivity with us, friendliness. They care enough to make our world a better place by shining, because that's what they do. And they care. They actually care about doing it. Like, they think it's important. Like, people are important. Think about it, okay? So we just have a lot to learn here. And the reason, so they care. It's important for them. And the reason why we are wrong about them being not sincere and everything is because we do the same. We behave in the same insincere way with strangers here in Kharkiv, in Ukraine, in whatever, any Russian-speaking country. Like, when we meet people in the street, you just ignore them, you don't smile to them, you never talk to them. And when you do, you play the game. If you don't know the person, if you've never talked to them before, like, you play the game. You say, what do you say? You say thank you. You say please, you're welcome, goodbye, hello. Not because you love them, right? But because it's just the right thing to do. We're not barbarians, for goodness sake. No, we're adults, right? We're civil adults. We know how to play the game. It's just that for them, the rules of the game, well, the game is more demanding, okay? It's more important, and it's kind of harder to play. American politeness game. But we play the same game. It's not like we have our hearts open towards everybody. It's impossible. It's impossible. We just sometimes say the right things. And this is what politeness is about. It's about saying the right things, caring enough, about the situation, not necessarily about the future and the life of that person you're talking to. Right? So because it's impossible to have that open heart-to-heart communication with strangers. You can't do that. We don't have enough energy for that. Right? And neutral niceness, well, you're just neutrally nice. It's not like I love you, but I don't want us to. We have 1 minute together, and let's spend this 1 minute being nice to each other. Okay? Without opening our heart, but still, it's a better choice. Don't you think? It's much better. And it is easy to practice politeness. And, it's just a skill that we can develop. It's not about changing something in the, well, I don't know, machine codes of our souls. No, it's a skill, all right? And the problem is that, like, I have developed in myself this level of, this understanding of politeness. And I say, my students often accuse me of being too nice or saying too many good things about them. They think it's my job and so on and so forth. But it partly comes from, my mentality change, because I think English. I do not think in Russian. I do not translate in my head. And I've been in close contact with Americans and American culture for a long time, and I kind of feel what they feel, if you know what I mean. So I can tell you that when you say nothing, when you say okay, when you say some neutral things, and when you're being direct and you say, I want this, give me this, without even please. Or you write an email without saying thank you. Oh my God, that's just such a big problem to write thank you. I know that Americans like deep within themselves, they feel we're rude, blunt, direct, and general uncomfortable. Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be an adult? Why do you have to be a barbarian? They may even go as far as not trusting us and not liking us in general for not being, well, of course, not all of us, of course, because we have charisma, we have some positive personal energy that they read and they get the energy from, and they do like us and they do trust us sometimes. But words are important. And when your words are simple and not deliberately nice, and this is something we're going to be talking about later, they may think that, like, we are harder to deal with. Okay? Like, there's some friction in communication. And that's not good. Okay? This is the point I'm trying to make, that you need to understand that this is about work. It's not about some general principles about how to live a life. All right? It's about work. It's about you communicating with the American side, whatever they are, colleagues, partners, clients. You have to be able to play their game, because they are still Americans. They have American mentality. They have certain expectations. And if you do not live up to those expectations, they may feel that there is something wrong with you and they don't feel comfortable. But I'm exaggerating a little bit. I don't think that usually it's such a big problem, but sometimes it is. Because I see how my students communicate with me and how they respond to what I say. So, now some theory about, like, what is expected of you, right? Like, what rules you should follow, and then practice. And of course, guys, come on. What is the problem with you? Why can't you do this? Like, it's not hard, right? Like this. It's easy. You don't have to feel the joy of the world when you do this. Come on. Why can't you do that? You don't have to love them. Just do this. And look, you will not look stupid, okay? You will look just exactly as they expect you to look when they see you. Smile. And not because you feel it, but because it's your job. And it doesn't mean you're insincere. It doesn't mean that in your heart you feel, I hate you. I hate you. No. It just means that you care enough about the situation and you want it to be filled with positive vibes, with positivity and friendliness, rather than neutral working mode. Which is also okay, of course, but there is time and place for everything. Of course, they don't smile all of the time. But it's typical of them to smile when they meet you and say nice things, or when they say goodbye. So smile. Do not just speak. It's not enough, guys. It is bloody not enough. And look, your muscles must be developed, enough for you to be able to do this. So just do it. Okay? Thank you. Politeness rule number 2. Well, this one is harder. And of course, it depends on your personality type. Because not all of you like to talk, not all of you are interested in other people. But that's what they do big time. They take initiative, they show interest. Like they can be the first to say, hello, how are you? They can be the first to say, okay, tell me, how did you spend the weekend, or something else. Like they are not afraid to use words to start interacting with people and to express some ideas and share some energy. So you might as well do that. We'll talk about it later, but it's about small talk. It's about, being active. Rule number 3, and this is, I don't know, something that I consider to be super important, and so important that I actually tell my students to do it all the time with me. Because what bugs me, it really bugs me, is when I'm talking, and it's a Zoom conference or something, and they're sitting there watching me, listening to me, and when I stop, there's silence. Like, nobody even says, okay. Nobody says, thank you. Nobody says, oh, it's interesting. Nobody makes any comment. Like, the best I can hope for, if I haven't trained those people, the best I can hope for is, okay. And when I say something nice to them, or like I said, thank you for coming. Like, guys, thank you for being here with me today. They're absolutely stunned. Like, they don't know how to react. And I had the same problem. Absolutely the same problem. I remember back in 1997, I was talking to one American guy. I don't remember. His name was Mike. He was just a guy teaching English here in Kharkiv, and he was a driver or something back in the States. Anyway, he was a nice guy, and we were talking, and suddenly, out of nowhere, he decided to pay me a compliment. We were at a party somewhere, and he said, Serge, like, your English is very good. Like, super good. Like, I've never met anyone with better English than yours. But he just decided to pay me a compliment, and you know what I did? I looked at him, and I was like, I didn't know what to say. I really didn't. I didn't know how to react to that. Like, but the good thing I did was, like, I said, Mike, I'm sorry, I don't know how to react to that, so please teach me. And 23 years ago, I learned how to make polite noises. That was the lesson that I learned. You know what he said? He said, sir, no problem. Just say, I'm flattered to hear that. I am flattered, which is польщен, flatter, льстить. Like F-L-A-T-T-E-R, flatter. Yeah, I'm flattered to hear that. Just say, thank you, I'm flattered to hear that. Of course, later I also read in some books on some websites, okay, there are some phrases you can say there, like, it's very nice of you, I'm very happy to hear that, do you really mean it? There are phrases that you can use. But what is important is that no matter what, you should always make polite noises. Because when you're silent, when you are not saying anything, like a person said something, and of course they want some reaction. They want to feel that you are there, you're listening, you like it. Because you know what? They are not your friends. They don't feel you. They don't know you. And you know what you do when you don't know the person and they're not communicating with you? Remember what you do in this situation. You start thinking, oh my God, he doesn't like it. Oh my God, he thinks I'm whatever, stupid or wrong. Yeah, that's what we do. It's natural to react in that way. When we don't have information, the the ideas we come up with would be negative. Yeah, that's like, if you don't say, oh, thank you, that was interesting, I liked it very much. If you just say, it's easy for me to think you didn't like it. Because I don't know you, but you're silent. What am I supposed to think? Tell me. What? You're rude. You're rude. That's not a good choice. Is it? Cheers. So, bottom line is, guys, the bottom line is, when interacting with them, make polite noises, say something. some phrase. We're going to be practicing that later today. But say things to show that you are listening, that you heard them, that you like it. Oh, it's useful. Thank you. Wow, that's all. Never heard about it. Really? Did that really happen? Like, it's important. It's super important. Rule number 4, and it's connected to the previous one. You don't only say something. You actually say something nice, even if they are not talking to you. It's important to make sure that you don't just say, okay, thank you, I'll go. Or, okay, thank you, I want this, I need this. No, you have to make effort to say something nice. If the noises that you're making, the words that you're using, they are not nice, they're not friendly, they are not positive, then you are impolite, you're rude, you're unfriendly. And this is the law. All right? This is the law. You just accept it and follow it. And the most controversial rule of them all. And there are 2 sides to it. I agree. Yeah, you could look at it both ways. Because hypocrisy, лицемерие, or being two-faced, yeah, being dishonest, thinking one thing and saying another thing. Well, yeah, it's about this rule. It can happen. Like, if you really don't like the person and you want to say something, or not necessarily the person, you may not like what they've done, like, because they really put you in trouble, because they did not pull their weight. Remember the idiom? They did not pull their weight. I don't know, there's some negativity that is coming from what they're doing. You really don't like it, you genuinely don't like it. What is important is not just to be neutral. It's not enough to be neutral or to say, I won't do. Yeah, we have a problem. But your job is to soften the message and avoid negativity and make it be diplomatic. This is what it is. That's what it is. Be fucking diplomatic. Because anybody, who is clever enough, and in IT we must be clever enough, yeah? We must be adults who have a relatively high level of emotional intelligence, EQ, yeah? We need to understand, and when somebody says, like, your job is not perfect there, it needs some improvement, then it's a soft way of saying, yeah, there are some important issues that you need to change, or otherwise we'll have to make some decisions. Right? You don't need to directly say what you think. You must hint, and it's enough. It should be enough. So avoiding negativity in your words, softening your message, without being like, well, I'm sorry, that sucks. Okay, it's the worst code I've seen in my life. I mean, that's not an option, guys. I know maybe you don't speak like this, but you may be making this mistake in some other more subtle ways. Okay, like you don't notice it. Subtle is like тонкий, незаметный. So that's the rule to follow, and we will be practicing it today. Rule number 6, Baden-Baden, New York, New York, polite, polite. That's the rule. That, of course, I did not find these rules on the internet, guys. It comes from my own experience. That's how I see interaction with Americans. That's how, in my understanding, that's how it should go. Saying something once is okay, and very often it's perfectly acceptable. But saying it twice or 3 times, that's the way to go. Like, if you really want to be nice and friendly and polite, say the same twice. Of course, you don't need to say it exactly, in the same words twice. Like, thank you, good, good. No, but you need to express the same idea twice, and we'll be talking about it later. Like, it's a big deal. Because people don't believe you. And it's natural. You have to show that I'm serious about it. I mean it. I actually do. Yeah, that's what I did. I said, I mean it. I really do. And this works better. 2 shots work better than 1. 3, well, that would be even better. And please remember that politeness is a function. It's a job. It's not a feeling. It's just something you need to learn to do, like a skill. Right? Just practice it. Understand that it's important. Understand what it takes to be polite and nice and friendly, and just do it. Just bloody do it. Again, what do you think? What do you think, guys? Let me know. Checking. Yep. So, golden rule of politeness, the last thing I will share with you before we actually do the practice, will be do unto others as they want it done to them. Which means that when you're interacting with your customers or anyone from American side, do not use Russian or Russian speaking, whatever, standards of politeness. Okay? It's not enough. Understand what they expect from you and give them what they want. As simple as that. That'll be your love for them. That'll be your, actually, good job. That's what it is. That'll be your good job. And I'm trying to open this. Yeah. So, how about we practice it now? Good idea? Let's do it. Of course, if we were together somewhere here in this room or maybe in a Zoom call, then we could do it together. But because I don't see you, and I don't know where you are, and I don't know whether it's comfortable and convenient for you to do that, I'll be doing it for you, and if you want, you can just do it with me. And the task is to practice rule number 1, which is smile. Like, don't just say things, but smile. And this is a skill, guys. And like any skill, not doing it is just as important as doing it. Think about it. Not doing anything or being able not to do it is just as important as being able to do it. Because if you can sing, that's great. But if you sing all of the time, you cannot stop, that's very bad. See what I mean? You don't have to do it all of the time. No, you need to decide when to activate this skill, when it is appropriate, and do it. Because if you cannot do it, it's just not an option for you. Like, I can only not smile. Or I can only smile when I love the person. Then it's not a skill that we're talking about. But you have an option. You have 2 options. Yeah, you can say, hello, nice to meet you. Very good to see you. Thank you for coming. And you smile. Well, it's much better than just saying, hello, nice to meet you. Very good to see you. And you see the difference, right? You don't have, please do not overdo it. Like, no. I said big smile just because when you're learning something, it's good to exaggerate it. Exaggerate meaning преувеличивать, гиперболизировать. Like, it's a good idea to do it a lot. But in real life, just a little smile, like you're able to smile because you know this is what they expect. And of course, if you see that the person is not smiling, maybe you shouldn't either. And of course, it depends on the situation, because some Americans are more serious, they are older, they are more distant, more cold. And there can be some young ones who can be joking and talking about their life and asking you about your dog and things like this. And you can be friendlier and more informal. And it's up to you to decide when to do this. And guys, I'm sorry, I can't tell you because there's no general rule. It all depends on the situation. You understand that, right? But being able to do it and just activating it because you have to, because it's just something that you want to be like everyone else. It's like you are at a party and everyone is wearing costumes. And it's an important party for you. Just like for you. Let's imagine everyone's wearing costumes. Everyone's having fun. And you come there wearing jeans and t-shirt and you feel like, there's something wrong with me. I don't know. Why didn't I buy a costume? Why can't I be wearing what everyone is wearing? You know, being like everyone else sometimes is a good thing. That's a good thing. All right? So learn to smile. And activate it when you feel that this is what's expected of you, or that's what will make the other person feel good. All right, so anyway, I'm reading everything. with a smile, and you please do the same. Hello, nice to meet you. Hi, how are you doing? My name is Serge. Good to see you here. Do it. It's been a long time. How have you been? It's been a long time. How have you? Sometimes, yeah, you may raise your voice and you can be more expressive, but you need to understand when it is appropriate. But sometimes just a gentle smile and you're fine. Fine. It was a pleasure talking to you. Have a good one. Do it in front of a mirror. I know it's embarrassing, and I know that you're not going to do it, unfortunately, but trust me, it's just a super effective way of developing your skills. When you record yourself, maybe a video, maybe an audio, and then you listen to yourself, and you actually, or you watch yourself, and it's embarrassing. It's like, oh, I feel uncomfortable, but it's actually a powerful tool. I've noticed that I've been using it with my students for some time now, and when people have to listen to themselves and like look at themselves from the side, be an observer. You're not looking at yourself from the inside. Yeah, like, 'cause the way you feel and see yourself when you are in your head is very different from the way people see you. Okay, you get more control of what you do and how you do it when you see yourself from the side. Like, it's a super powerful tool. Actors do that, and actually good students do that. So if you care, if you really think that it's important for you to be able to, like, if you want to excel, to be excellent, you struggle for excellence. It's not enough for me just to be good, just to be okay. No, I want to be awesome. Do you want to be awesome? I think it's cool to be awesome. It's awesome to be awesome. Learn to smile when it's important. And to do that, go as far as, well, doing it in front of the mirror, or record yourself and just watch it and then correct your mistakes. Yeah, it was great. Take care. Yeah, it was great. Take care. Have a good one. Thank you very, very much for your help. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Very good. That was awesome. This meeting was extremely important for me. You helped me a lot. Thank you. Because when you're talking, you're not exactly smiling. Like, you cannot talk like and smile at the same time. But still, your lips and your cheeks, they move in that direction, like you're smiling. Oh, you're looking and sounding wonderful today. Wow, that's that. Thank you. Oh, guys, let's get down to work, shall we? Let's get down to work, shall we? I'm afraid it is impossible. I don't know, maybe joking, maybe funny, but of course, guys, like, communication is king. Communication is important, and smile is a way to communicate. And how you use it, well, it depends on the context. That's why sometimes smile may be rude sometimes, right? Because it may look like you're joking, and it's not the right time to joke. I understand it. I get it. But look, we just need to be able to do that, right? How are you guys so awesome? What's your secret? I don't know. My cheeks hurt a little bit from doing this exercise. And this is what you need to achieve. You need to start feeling that, well, there's some pain here. There's some pain. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Cheers. Rule number 2, practice. Well, that would be great for a real lesson when we could see each other and we could really interact with one another. But I want to say that taking initiative, being first to say something. Yeah, start a conversation or do a small talk when you ask them some questions about their lives or about the weather or about, I don't know, some sport results or about hobbies or about anything. Or when you take the initiative to say thank you and you pay compliments. Like, you do it when no one's asking. That's the point. You do it when no one is asking. You just decided to do it. That's a plus to your karma. That's just another bunch of kudos to you and your ability to do your job. Okay, so these are the 3 areas. But how to practice that? Well, if you want to develop any skill, what is important is to analyze how you're doing. Okay, so take time to, again, look at yourself from the side and understand how well you're performing. Like whether you're silent or not, whether you're smiling or not, which words you say, whether they're positive or friendly or not. Do the audit of the way you communicate. You may as well, you could even record yourself. Sometimes your meetings are recorded, and I know that that's okay. But if it's okay, do it. And then listen and analyze and understand that, maybe I could have been more friendly here, or I could have smiled here, or I could have find these weak areas. And then, there's a very simple principle to follow, and it's nothing super new, but it works. You do not try to change everything. This is one thing at a time, one baby step at a time. I call it Shrek rule. Shrek rule. It's like when Shrek and Donkey in the first movie, in the first cartoon, when they were about to cross the bridge over the boiling lake of lava to reach the castle with Princess Fiona and the dragon. If you have seen that, you know what I'm talking about. And the donkey was just, he was scared. It scared the hell out of him. I can't move on this bridge. Shrek said, "Don't worry, let's tackle this together, one little baby step at a time." I watched it so many times with my son in his childhood. I learned the line, "Let's tackle this thing together, one little baby step at a time." That's the rule. Steal one phrase from them. Take one phrase. Decide that you are going to say this. Practice it. Rehearse it. Decide when you're going. You've never said it before. You never said, how are you first? Or something else. It depends on the person and your style of communication with that person. But you take one line, you prepare it, you decide when you're going to say it, then you show up and shoot. And you change your conversation and the way you communicate with them in one little place, using one little phrase. And you show up and shoot. Okay? Or you just decide, I'm going to be saying, whatever I say at the beginning, "Hi, let's start our meeting," whatever you say, just you can make a decision. Now I'm going to be saying it with a smile. "Hi, how are you doing?" Or "Good. Yes, everything's good. Let's start. I'm ready." And if you just decide to say it with a smile and practice it at home, and then actually do this little thing, and then enjoy yourself, because it feels good. It feels good when you're learning, when you're developing, when new things become comfortable for you. That is a great sensation. So I strongly recommend it. Strongly recommend it, guys. Do it this way. One little baby step at a time. Then the next one. Then the next one. The next thing you know, you're moving. And sometime, a year later, you look back, you understand, I'm no longer in the place where I used to be. I have developed. Rule 3, practice. Well, the phrases that you can use, obviously, this is what are we going to be talking about here, because rule 3 is about reacting, not being silent, saying something. All right? So, category number 1 of things that you could be saying when you're listening. Don't just sit, don't listen. Don't just sit listening, right? Say, "Yeah, sure." From time to time. Don't say it all the time. Do not overdo it, guys, okay? Do not overdo it. But do it. Wow. Really? Oh, interesting. Great. Absolutely. Agree. Right. Okay, good. Say simple things, but you make the person feel you're there. You care. You're connected. You're engaged. It gives him some sense of comfort and trust and confidence. Of course, some of them may not care in the least, but still, in general, that's a good skill. Number two, and that's a very simple thing to do. From time to time, you just repeat what the person said. You just said, yeah, you're right. Or they're effective. Yes, they are effective. They should try this approach. Yeah, you're right. We should try. We should try it. Yeah, we should. They were late with the response. Late with the response? Like you repeat with a question or with a statement, but there is time and place for this approach, for this sub-skill. It doesn't mean you have to do it a lot or all of the time. No, but having this in your arsenal of tools, it ain't a bad idea, if you know what I mean. Another way to react, or two ways to react to what you're hearing from them when you're listening, is you say something positive, like deliberately positive. Like, you're ready, I'm full of energy, I'm full of confidence, and oh, I'm a good worker. It's just great. It's like, guys, you know that it's not enough to have a good product. You know that, right? It's not enough. There are many good products out there, but not all of them sell well. You know why? The wrapper isn't good enough, or the publicity, the promotion, advertising, things are not working very well in terms of attracting customers. Hey, there are and of course at the same time there are lots of shitty products out there, but they're just promoted very well and people are buying them. But it actually shows that two things are important. Being someone with content, with professional skills, yeah, being able to deliver the goods is one thing, and being able to show it or to communicate it in the way that is accepted and believed, that is another skill. And you cannot do one without the other. It's like two legs that you're walking on. In the professional field, communicating yourself in a certain way, and I'm talking about confident, positive, friendly, I'm ready to do it, is important. And because, well, it's about making people feel a certain way. You win people by making them feel a certain way. You win them over. That's the phrase. Yeah. So you say, sounds like a plan. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we can try it this way. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm absolutely sure we will cope. Yes. I can't wait to start. Yeah, we will pull it off. Pull it off means we сделаем это, basically. Accomplish it. That's what it means. Yeah, I'm ready to get down right away. Like, you express this idea that you care, that you're confident, that you're ready, that you're full of energy, that you're competent, that you're sure. Well, it makes a difference. It actually makes a difference. Sometimes, maybe rarely, just be able to do it. Think about it. And what you can do here is you can take some of these phrases, one of them, at least one, or you can create your own. So if you get the idea, you can create your own, because it's not about set phrases. It's about the rule, general principle. Say something that communicates positivity about work, about you being able or being ready to do things. A simple example, it sounds like a plan. Like, because when I say to my students, obviously I communicate with them much more often with Americans than, but still, when I say to them, guys, okay, let's do this. Let's have this type of lesson next time, or let's do this homework, whatever. And they say, okay. And I feel a little bit, like tiny little bit sad and upset. And, well, not insulted or anything, but like there's a drop of energy there. Because I wanted them to pick up my energy. Like, guys, let's do it. Like, it's a good thing to do. And I was expecting them to play the game. And to say, yeah, good, sounds like a plan. Let's do it. Sounds like a plan. Let's do it. You say it twice. So be positive. And of course, use these wonderful descriptive, positive adjectives. Yeah? Describe meetings, issues that you have, ideas, suggestions, plans, speeches, questions, solutions, reminders, decisions, remarks, even people. You describe them using adjectives. Wonderful, amazing, incredible, helpful, valuable, invaluable. absolutely feasible, which means осуществимо. Вот полностью, 100% осуществимо. Ну, это можно сделать. It is feasible. To the point. Ну, в точку. В точку, к месту. Вот, ну, то, что надо. Brilliant. Wonderful word. Informative. Important. Timely. Which is when the time is good. Yes? Своевременная. That's the word. Productive. Effective. What else could it be? Incredible. Yeah, excellent. Yes, excellent. I did not use this word. Excellent. So you use these adjectives to describe the idea, the speech, the suggestion, the decision, whatever. Just be deliberately nice on purpose. Don't just say yeah. It's not enough. All right? So, what do you think? I think it's a great idea. But what is even greater, and I love it, something that I developed, something that I came up with, and I love it, and I hope you will love it too. Cheers. Sometimes there is time and place for not just politeness, but super politeness. I don't know, you need to feel it. You have to have this understanding. Okay, this is the time for me to be more positive than usual. Then there's a formula to use that I developed, and you can change it, you can modify it, you can create your own formula. But the idea is that you say something nice 3 times. But like it's a pattern. Pattern. Yes, like formula, шаблон. You say an adjective, then you say thank you, and you say an action that will be done or should be done or something. Like I said, you can modify it. But for example, you can use it in this way. It's a wonderful proposition. Thank you very much. We will do our best to implement it. Or we will definitely consider it. Wonderful. Thank you. Implement. Like if you learn this simple formula, pattern, and guys, it is about preparation. It's about doing your homework. And I don't mean it like in this classroom or studying process way or terms. No, it's about preparing anything. Like you have you know you're gonna have a meeting with someone about something, and you prepare for it. You decide what you're gonna say, how you're gonna say it, what information you will request or give, or what you will show, and that's doing homework. Doing homework in general meaning, preparing. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, and you think, oh, it's a good idea, I like it, then I challenge you not to leave it there. I'm challenging you to take it one step further. And you take certain ideas that I gave you and the phrases that I gave you, and you go home. Maybe you are home, but you sit down and you think about how you communicate and what is lacking in how you communicate. Maybe it's a smile, maybe it's some positive words, maybe it's something else. And you make a decision that you're going to do it differently, and you prepare. Like you create some phrases you're going to say, and you decide when you're going to say it, and then you do it. Okay? So I would really love for you to actually start practicing it at work, because it's possible. That's a super formula. Make up perfectly polite responses using the formula. Adjective to describe something that's been done, saying thank you very much, and then some action that again sounds positive, sounds like whew, it's a good thing. I'm ready, I'm confident, I can do it. And just see the ideas. Some of them may be silly. You know better because you know your customers, you know your people, you know your situation. Use this language, but correct it, modify it to make it suit your situation. Wonderful idea, thank you, I will think about it. It's a standard response. Say it with a smile. Wonderful idea. Thank you. I'll think about it. If deep inside of you, you're not thinking, no, it's not so. If you're not lying, if you're thinking, maybe it's so. Even if you're thinking, maybe it is so. It's possible that it's a wonderful idea. It's possible that I will think about it. You will already sound sincere. Okay? Nobody will feel that, oh, you're lying. No. Again, you don't have to feel it. It's just something you give to the person you're dancing with, because this is what it is. Social interaction is like a dance. Do not step on their shoes. Okay? That's it. Great solution. Thank you. I will do my best to implement it. Amazing speech. Thank you very much. We should have more of these. Wow, quite unexpected offer. Well, sometimes it's not that positive, but why not? Maybe you're hiding some negativity. I don't know. Unexpected offer. Thank you. I will consider it. Surprising result, or surprisingly good result. I'll share it with my team. Thank you. It's an awesome article. Thank you. I will do some research on it, on the ideas of the article. Then you put these words together and you sound like a professional. Like soft skills, politeness. It's part of your professionalism. Because the way you talk with your friends, your families, with your cat, think about how you speak with your cat or your dog. You think you can speak in the same way with people at work? No. You switch. You switch the language. You adjust the language to make it suit the situation, right? I'm just setting some standards for you and helping you understand that, well, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn, like you haven't reached your potential. And I want you to be inspired and feel like, oh yes, I want to do it. Serge, I want to do it. I can do it. I can achieve that. I can be that. Do it. And 1 year later, write to me and say, Serge, you were right. And it helped me a lot, and you helped me. Yes, that's what we are working for. For result, yeah, it's great to have, guys, that I'm not just here talking and helping you have a good time. No, I'm here to make a difference in the way you do things at work. And it counts. It matters. Well, another thing, but which is very much like what we've just done. Rule 4 practice. It's when you say deliberately some nice things. And it very much like what we've just done, but just no formula. No pattern. But imagine that, again, at the end of the conversation, at the end of the meeting, when nobody's asking you anything, that's the difference. The previous one, you usually say that, or you can say that, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Especially after someone has said something, like they've made a speech, and they said, okay, good, that's it. And you say, oh, good idea, thank you, I'll think about it. That's your response to what they said. And here, just some random things you may say anytime you want during the meeting. Yeah, you just say, thank you for providing this. You have helped me with that. I appreciate your contribution to that. Your is outstanding. You always manage. It's like paying compliments, right? It's about that. So it's about you going further and taking initiative and showing not interest, but showing this desire to be positive, to be friendly, to be nice, and to be more professional. Not because someone has asked you something or has told you something, you're just reacting to that, but because you can do it. You can say, you're really good at this or that. Or your explanation, your presentation, this meeting was, and now I can, blah, blah. Just some patterns that you can use in your work, but come on. You can have hundreds of others, and you can create on your own. It's about initiative and caring to be friendly and positive and polite and understanding. That's something that will improve your cooperation and communication with American guys, right? So use that. Take them, fill in the gaps. Decide where you can use them in your communication. Practice. Show up and shoot. You can do it. Very important skill, being able to soften the message, to to make sure it doesn't sound rude, direct, negative. Yeah. And one way is you don't use negative words. Instead of using negative words, you say not and a positive one. We do the same in Russian. I mean, that's perfectly normal. Avoid negative words like failure, mistake, lying, wrong, terrible, hate, things like this. Do not use them. Never use them. But if you have to, if the situation is such that you have to say something like that, then you have to use, well, they're not euphemisms, but kind of, yeah. It wasn't a total success, unfortunately. Or he's not telling all the truth instead of he's lying, yeah. She wasn't exactly right. She wasn't exactly right. It's a much more polite way of saying she's wrong. Do you agree? You can always say she's wrong, she's fucking lying. No, it's easy. But it's just not professional, it's not good. Learn to say she's not exactly right. The execution wasn't perfect. It's better than it sucked. The execution, the implementation sucked. Right? It was terrible. No, don't say that. Avoid negativity by saying not and then positive. He's not poor. It's a soft way of saying he's not rich, right? Or he's rich, sorry. He's rich or he's not poor. And he's not poor is weaker. Weaker. He's ugly. He's not beautiful. Yeah, that's true. It sounds nice. Agree? It's a horrible idea. It's not the best idea I've heard. No. It's not a great idea. It can be improved. Yeah, you don't talk about failures, you talk about possibility and opportunity to improve. I hate it? No, I can't say I love it. No, I wouldn't say I love it. Yeah. Another way, it's something that you can do, and then you'll see the correct answers. You can do it on your own. You use modal verbs. Would, might, could, may, instead of present simple. Because this is the grammar rule of politeness. Avoid present simple. Present simple is a fact. It's like the way things are, always. It's pretty impolite. It's factual, not because it's rude. It's too factual. It's too permanent. There's too much pressure on the listener because politeness is about creating some comfort zone for the listener. Avoiding pressure, not saying things directly to that person, right? That's politeness. And when you say, do you want? He will be able. They need to practice. I don't agree. He will need. We will need. You sound, look, it's okay in many cases. Like, I'm not saying avoid it at all times. No. But sometimes, you need to develop the feeling of when that time is. I cannot tell you now because it depends on the situation. By the way, just an idea. Analyze how they are communicating with you. Now that you know what, the rules, right? The standards and everything. You can learn a lot from just observing them. Their emails, or the way they communicate. When I say they, of course, I mean Americans. Or maybe you have some British guys in your project or whoever. In general, that's what they do. They say would, or might, or could, or may, because they sound less certain. And that's why less pressure on you. Like fact or reality is putting me under pressure. No. Don't say that. How would you say this? Just answer that question for yourself and create new sentences. Please create new sentences. Cheers. Correct answers. Again, it doesn't mean it's the only correct answer or anything. No. There's a lot of freedom here. But yeah, you can say, would you like to try one more time and not do you want? You may say he might be able instead of he will be able. But again, sometimes you need to say he will be able, right? But might, like not sure, not exactly true. I mean, not exactly fact. Maybe they could practice more. I wouldn't agree with that. Like you don't tell people what to do. You don't say do it. You say you might do it if you want. It's like, I don't know, you feel more comfortable hearing this. Like, it's less pressure. You don't say, I don't agree with you. Maybe you don't say that. But the point is that not saying, I don't agree with you and with that, and saying nothing, or I don't think blah, 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 it's correct, that's not an option either. It's not an option either. Like, you have to make effort to make your message soft by using modal verbs. For example, and I wouldn't agree with that, or I don't think that would be a good idea. It sounds nicer than I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea. I wouldn't think, or I'm afraid, or I wouldn't think that would be a good idea, or I don't think that would be a good idea. Be not a good idea. These two things make it nicer, softer. We may need more time for this, rather than we will. And again, analyze their emails and how they communicate. You will see a lot of it. You absolutely will. I don't know where they learn it. I think it just comes from culture. Cultural appropriation. A kid is born in a society and everyone does it, and the kid just lives there and just picks up this natural way. Picks it up naturally. Just acquires this cultural politeness. Another way to soften the message is to use words that minimize the statement. Make it less serious or just smaller. Right? It limits it. Not all. Not everything. Not big. But just a bit. Slight, which is небольшой, yeah? Short. Minor. A few. One or two. And when you use them, well, you sound nice. You sound friendly. Again, it's your way of avoiding negativity. It's not your way of complimenting. No, when you compliment, you don't say that. No. But when you want to say it's not good, and you say, like, I'm late with the task, right? Maybe there is time and place for this, of course. But can you modify it and make it softer? Can you? If you can, you just decide not to, that's okay. You know that there's this rule, okay? So when you're speaking English and you're making a grammatical mistake in English, but you do it on purpose. You do it because you want to. You just say, me no understand. Because you say it because you want it. It's not a mistake. Mistakes made on purpose, deliberately, with intention. Intentional mistakes, yeah? They're not mistakes. They're just a way of communicating. That's the rule. So if you say, I'm late with the task, but when you can say, what is it? What is it? What do you say, I am? Instead of I am. You say, I might be. Yeah, that's another way. That's from previous point. I might be. But a little, right? A bit. It sounds nice. It sounds, it's just more pleasant to hear it. And you can say it. You can say, I might be a little late with the task. I might be a little late. You can say it. But you say, I'm late. I'll be late. Then it's better. Then you just cannot say, I might be a little late. All right? So it's good to have this tool in your arsenal, and sometimes use it, sometimes not. So it will take much more time. What do you say instead of much more, guys? Of course, you say, well, something, decide. I will show you correct answers now. Do we have a problem? Houston, we have a problem? Soften it. Decide for yourself. You'll see the correct answers. I'm very busy now. I have found many bugs. He has overdone it. It's okay to say it sometimes. Maybe many times. But if you want to soften it, you say, I'm a bit late. It will take slightly more time. We have a minor problem. A little problem. I'm a bit busy now. I have found one or two bugs. A few bugs. He has slightly overdone it. Slightly overdone it. He has made a little mistake. There's a few mistakes you need to correct. it's not exactly perfect. There's a few things you need to correct. It's like, oh, it's terrible. It's like, oh my God, you need to find another job. See the difference? See the point that I'm making? I don't know. For me, these are two different worlds. And it's nice to be able to live in both. And the last thing, guys, the last thing, which is very, very, very much about the actual language that you use. It's, again, about you softening what you're saying it in a friendly, polite way because you know grammar, because you know certain phrases that do that. Okay, it's more like a lesson type of information. So you want to say, tell me please. That's what you really, really want. And very often I want to say this. I mean, that even nowadays, like I have an American teacher of English who is working in one of the companies teaching English together with my other teachers of English. So like we interact with him once in a while. He's a nice guy, American guy, and actually I feel a little bit scared sometimes to write a message to him on Telegram, to hit him up on Telegram, because I want to write, hello Stephen, how you doing? Tell me please. That's how I want to write. That's the Russian nature that I have. It makes me want to write that. Tell me please. But I know that when he responds, and look, we are friends. Like we have informal communication with him. Like we've met, we're on the same page and the same level. Like he's not my boss, or I'm kind of his boss. I pay his salary. But my point is that he is very polite with me, super friendly, and it's just his nature. So when he responds on Telegram, it's just some chatting on Telegram, gives me a paragraph, like 5-7 sentences as the answer to my question, tell me please. Is it? Can you? So he starts with something like, Serge, hello, how are you doing? I hope you and your family are having a wonderful life and everything like this. Thank you for your question. And then he answers the question. He tells me what I want to hear. And then he says, again, thank you for reaching out, buddy. I was happy to hear from you. Be blessed. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you. Like, there's so much honey in his message. I'm afraid to write it because, like I said, there's part of me that wants just to be blunt and direct and say, like, tell me. Hi, tell me. Thank you. It's it. But I know that he's expecting something nicer, more honey, more nice things. And he does it. And I just don't have the energy for that, really. I understand what I need to do. I know how to do it. Oh my God, I don't want to do it. Because he's just a friend. He's not a customer. He's not someone who can really motivate me to be the best I can be. But this is what it's all about, guys. I hope you understand the connection, right? It's about using extra words in your sentence to make the simple request, tell me please, a more polite one. You soften it. And there's time and place for everything. I told you this many times. Sometimes that's exactly what you say, tell me please. But sometimes, imagine the situation when you have asked for some information and the person gave it to you. And you know that it took some time for the person to find this information. And the person gave it to you. And you lost it. Or you forgot it, whatever. You can't find it anymore. And you ask for the same information again. Will you be more polite this time? Will you use more words because you feel less comfortable? Of course you will. And trust me, if, for example, I don't know, some ill fate befell you, or I don't know, some demons are against you, are up against you, and you lost it again. And you have to ask for the same piece of information the third time. How will you be feeling? Like, you're making yourself very, very small. You have to make yourself very small. You understand this is a big person. The person is at the distance from you. And you are worthless nobody. And you feel it, and you need to express it in the language, and you don't know how to do it. And if you just say, tell me please, no, it's just not adequate. Right? It's not appropriate. It's not a good way to do that. Anyway, ask a question. Can you tell me, please? And it's already automatically more polite. Use past. Past simple, past continuous. And becomes automatically more polite. Could you tell me, please? Would you tell me, please? That's just a more polite way of saying it. Remember it. Grammatically, when you're writing an email, when you understand you want to say something, ask a question, put it in the past. You're just a better person. If you want to be more polite, it's another factor of politeness. It's use indirect question. Like, I'm not asking, can you, could you? I'm saying, I wonder if. I wonder if. That's the beginning of an indirect question. You say, I wonder if. I wonder if you could tell me, please. There's time and place for such questions, guys. It doesn't mean you have to do it all of the time. Just understand that it's more polite because it's less personal. I'm less sure. I'm less factual, less direct. You add this idea of not reality, but possibility. I don't expect it like a fact. I just possibly. Could you possibly? I wonder if you could possibly. It's like with these words, you're communicating one idea. I feel you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to listen to me now. I'm feeling very uncomfortable. And that's why I'm saying, I'm sorry, but do you think you could possibly? I wonder if you could possibly. And maybe you have to do this once a year. Maybe once in 2 years. It's a rare situation, I agree. But being able to do this, that's important. You need to have that tool in your arsenal. Use indirect questions, use possibility, use continuous. Continuous is always, like I said, past or present, simple. Actually, pretty much any simple. It's a way to be factual and impolite. Because it means always. I hope is less polite than I'm hoping. Because I'm hoping is not always, not all of the time, less pressure on the listener. Just lighter. It's a lighter statement. And I was wondering, it's you saying I'm very, very uncomfortable. It's like, that's a very wrong time and place for this question. I know I'm bothering you like big time. I'm very sorry to do that, but I have to. Не был ли бы любезен, многоуважаемый Джин? That's what it means. Right? That's how you feel when you say that. Like, it's extremely polite. But be able to do this. I was wondering if you could possibly tell me, please. Yeah, continuous. It's a huge factor, making it polite. You mentioned the fact that it's something that the person decides to do. It's his freedom, his choice. He doesn't have to do it. Like, you don't have to do it. It's just my request. You're free to say no. If you say this, it's more polite. Would you mind telling me? By the way, never say wouldn't you mind, guys. Never say. Mind means возражать. And in Russian we say не возражаете, but in English you say вы возражаете. Think about it. Never ask a question with the word mind using not. Never say don't you mind or wouldn't you mind, because it actually means разве вы не возражаете? Разве нет? Don't, doesn't, didn't, aren't, wouldn't, can't. In a question, like can't you, don't you, aren't you, wouldn't you, these words, they mean разве не? Разве вы не возражаете? That's strange. No, never say not with mind. Say, would you mind? It's more polite than can you. Do you think you might want to tell me? Do you think you might want to tell me? That's crazy, by the way. I forgot to put question mark there. Oh, forgive me for that, guys. But would you be so kind as to tell me? By the way, it's important to say as. But when you say kind, what does it mean? It's your choice. If you decide to be kind to me, you tell me. If you don't want to, you don't have to tell me. But it's okay. It's your freedom. If it's not too much trouble for you, of course. If you have time. If it's okay with you. You mention these things and automatically more polite. You got it? You make it impersonal. Yeah, you don't say you say it. Would it be possible? Will it be convenient for you to do this? That's it. You say it. It's already, like I said, less direct, less pressure on the listener, more politeness, softer. When you explain why it is important for you, when you're writing and say, do you think you could provide me with this information? And you explain why you need it. I need this for this. It's very important for that, for me. What does it mean? What is it communicating? It's communicating one idea. You are important enough to know the reason why you have to make that effort. Like, you are sitting on that throne and you can decide, you may decide or you may not decide to go down and do something to us mere mortals. And if you do decide, you are important enough to know why you have to do that for us. I'm exaggerating, of course. That's hyperbole. That's a caricature, of course. But the idea is you make the person feel important. And that's why it's more polite, it's soft. When you say, I need it for this, I don't just do it because I want. No, do it because it's important. And you don't have to do it. All these aspects, they worked perfectly together to create, well, polite phrases. Well, and the last two factors of politeness I would like to mention. When you start talking to a person, like in the street somewhere, or maybe even at a meeting somewhere, you don't just say, tell me. Can you tell me? You say, I apologize for troubling. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry to disturb you. You apologize because you have to interrupt something. Maybe if the person is thinking about something and you have no right interfering with the process of thinking of the person, right? And you show it. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I apologize. And you say, I'd be very grateful. Thank you. You put these things together and you can be a king of politeness, a queen of politeness. You know you're a queen, you know you're a king, when you can say something like, or when you refuse not to say, tell me please, but you say this thing. You say, I apologize for troubling you, but I was wondering, do you think you could possibly... would it be convenient for you to tell me the time, please? If it's not too much trouble for you, of course. I'd be very, very grateful. I really need it now. Thank you. It's crazy, I know. It's too much. It's too much sugar. No one speaks like this. I mean, you can see it on television, people doing it on the stage. Yes. And by the way, that's how you create jokes. Yeah, when you overdo it. But it just shows that there's time and place for everything, basically. And maybe if I cut it in half, if I read just 50% of it, that's good for life situations. You apologize. You say, do you think you could possibly do it? And you explain why you need it. You say thank you. These 4 things. I apologize for troubling you. Do you think you could possibly tell me the time, guys? Sorry. Could you? I really need it now. I'd be very grateful. Thank you. It sounds more natural, right? But still, it's made up of 4 aspects. Maybe even more, because do you think you could, or do you think if it would be useful, convenient for you to do this? That's just something. Yeah, it's good to be able to do that. That's what it is. And the last thing, the very last thing. So you have the phrases, say it again. Write to me. Don't open the door. Stay here. Sit there. You want to say it to the person, but you want to make it sound right. You want to make it sound nice and polite and friendly. And there's a bunch of phrases for you to use. I know it'll take time. And actually, I'm going to share with you some podcasts, some homework, because I want you to practice it. I don't want it to be just a live stream once a week. No, I want you to do it at home, please, guys. This will, if you ever reach out to me and you say, Serge, I've done it and my speaking has become better because of the things we've done together, oh my God, I'll be on 7th heaven. You may not care about me being on seventh heaven, but, you know, sharing some positive energy is a good idea. Anyway, do it. Do it. And say it again, yeah? I wonder if you could say it again, please. Not too much. I wonder if you could say it again, please. Or, I was wondering if you could say it again, please. I was wondering if you could say it again, please. Would you mind saying it again? Oh, like super, like everyday phrase. Would you mind saying it again, please? Yeah, like, wow, that's a good phrase. Do you ever say that? You should. Would you mind saying it again, please? Like, if you just make these one-liners, one phrase, would it be possible for you to say it again, please? Like, it's too much already. It's just too polite. Like, you have to have the situation. But this is the mistake that you can make here. When you're being more polite than necessary, it may be construed as, or like understood or perceived as joking, mocking, teasing. It's like too much. Oh, it depends on the intonation a lot. It depends on the person's adequate understanding of the situation. But if you want to be angry, if you want to say, tell me, but you kind of keep it inside and you put it on this super politeness, or you get into this super politeness mode, instead of being angry, you're saying, would it be possible for you to say it again, please? Do you think you could do that for me, please? Like, you understand, right? Like, there may be this discrepancy between the context, the real level of politeness that is adequate for this situation, and the level that I am assuming and I'm adopting in my speech. But this is about the situations, guys. It depends. It all depends. I cannot tell you, but you need to figure out how to feel it. But these are the phrases that you can practice. Okay? Write to me. Would you be so kind as to write to me? I would be very grateful. That's a nice phrase to say. Не были бы вы так любезны написать мне? Would you be so kind as to write to me? I would be very grateful. Thank you. The good thing is, I have some audio podcasts for you to listen to and for you to use as speaking exercises, because you can listen to me and speak and say these things and say all these polite things. All right, so I'm going to share them with you. Listen, practice, and you can reach out to me. You can find me on Telegram. It's Father Serge, but you can reach out to some Nix guys. I don't know, Nix administration. They know me and they know how to find me. And hit me up. Hit me up on Telegram. And I don't know if you have any questions. If you want to do some practice and if you want my feedback on things that you do, I'll be happy to help, guys. You can write to me, okay? And I'll be happy to tell you, yes, you're right, no, like answer your questions, correct your mistakes and so on. I'll be happy to do it for you. I'm sure that not many of you will do it, so not hundreds, so no problem. Please write to me. And look, that's all I have to say. That's all I had to say for today. I enjoyed it. I hope that you did too, and you found lots of gems for yourselves. But please do your homework. Decide to make your speech better, practice it, and use it. All right? Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. See you next time.